Hey guys, it's Tackle Freak here, and welcome to episode 45 of my custom story creation tutorial for Amnesia Rebirth. And today we're going to be talking about advanced main menus. So in the last episode we talked about simple main menus, we talked about how we can get some images that we've created beforehand to show up on screen. And now today we're going to be talking about advanced main menus. In terms of simplicity, it shouldn't be too difficult to do this, just a few extra steps, but it should be fairly simple. I'm going to try to make it simple for you guys. I prepared a custom main menu script for you guys to download and use, so it makes your life a lot easier. You guys don't have to edit any the built-in main menu script from the developers, so that saves you guys a lot of time. So it's advanced in the sense that the intros that we're going to get on our main menu are going to look a lot cooler, a lot more interesting, and there's going to be a lot more going on for our main menu. So let's go ahead and get started so you guys can see kind of what we're gonna be working with today. But I would highly recommend watching the last video if you haven't seen it already. A lot of what we do there we're gonna do here again. I'm gonna assume that you didn't watch the previous episode, so I'm gonna start kind of from like scratch as if we had nothing from the previous episode. So for those that are watching this episode without watching the previous episode, you guys can go ahead and just watch, no problem. But you might want to check out the last episode. Things will make a lot more sense if you watch this one. So let's go ahead and get started. So first thing I want to do is we're going to want another main menu map. In the last episode we just made a blank one. Since we want to make like a fancier main menu where we actually have like a kind of a cutscene play before the main menu shows up, we want to go ahead and have something to actually show for the cutscene and stuff. So what I think I'm going to do, I was thinking about where I'm going to put it. So what I'm going to do down here, I'm going to go ahead and focus by pressing F and zoom here. I want to get a camera animation right here where we kind of just pan down the stairs and we look down this hallway, and I'm thinking maybe like there's a ghoul standing there and like a light flickering over here. So I want it to be pretty much look just like my map here and everything. And I want a camera animation right here going down the stairs. So what I'm going to do is, instead of just making a whole nother map and kind of trying to replicate this or whatever, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save a copy of this exact map and call it main menu, and that's going to be my main menu. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to hit File, we're going to do Save As, and we're going to back up one folder here. So you want to go to the root directory of your custom stories folder. I'm going to go in my maps folder, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder here, and I'm going to call it main menu. I've gone ahead and removed the one from the last episode, so it's going to be main menu, and then we're going to go ahead and click in here, and we're going to call this main menu, and we're going to go ahead and hit save file here. So now we have a copy of our map called main menu, and again I want to play the animation going down here. For a time I'm not going to do it in the episode, but you could go ahead and kind of clear out everything up here, and any like callbacks or anything you got, because we're not going to be using them. We just want the level for the visual, so that's why we made a copy. Ideally you'd want to do that too, because if there's parts of the level that if there's extra parts to the level, that's gonna make it take longer to load in your level. So rather than having all the extra walls and lights up here that people are not gonna see for the main menu, you can remove them. Again, I'm just gonna be lazy and I'm gonna leave it for just because I'm just demonstrating stuff here. So I'm gonna leave it. But now that we have it saved as main menu, this is going to be our new map and everything. So I'm going to make some changes to the map before we go any further. So like I said, I want to put a ghoul right here, and I want to set like this light to like flicker. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to go ahead and go to entities here. I'm going to go ahead and it's under characters if you need it, character, and then ghoul. But I'm going to go ahead and place down a ghoul here, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate them. And let's rotate them this way. So I want him to face down this hallway here. And I think that's a good spot for him. We want him to be active right off the bat. But one thing I want to do is I want to disable his senses, because I don't want him to... it is the main menu, but the player still technically exists on the map. So if his senses are not disabled, he will actually move and stuff, which is fine if it's something you want. If you want him like for the main menu, if you wanted him to be patrolling around this like this area here, you could. I'm just going to kind of have them standing there looking a little bit menacing. So that's what I want. But of course, you guys, anything in your level will show up in your main menu. So if you want to have like a cool patrolling, or you want to have some kind of like animation playing from like a light or something like that, you can go ahead and do that. No problem. I'm just going to put the ghoul to just stand here and just kind of do nothing really. And again, I said I want to get this light flickering. These lights are off by default. So I want to get this one lit here because I want the player to be able to see. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and enable flicker on this lamp. So we're going to say flicker active. And let's go ahead and we want to use the flicker settings here. We're going to enable the use custom flicker settings. And then I'm going to set the min time on to be about, let's do 3. We'll do 3. So it's going to be on for a minimum of 3 seconds up to a maximum of, let's do 9 seconds. The off time, I only want it to like go off for a second and then come back on with the light. So I think this will be fine. So that should be fine there. And they'll make this light flicker and everything. So we're done with that. So I think that's everything I want to change in the level. We're gonna come back here. We do have to make the camera animation. But first, I want to talk about some other things before we get to that point. So for now, I'm just gonna leave the ghoul here with the flickering light. We'll come back to the map in a moment. So let's go ahead and minimize this now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the root directory of our custom story folder. Again, we talked about this in the last episode, but we want to make sure we have 2 folders here. We want to have a graphics folder and we want to have a script folder. The script folder, I'm going to provide you the full path to it in the files that you can download in the description. But the graphics, I will include this one as well, but you can actually find the graphics in the root directory of the Amnesia Rebirth folder. So what we need here is to make a folder called graphics and a folder called script. You want to open up your resources folder here, your resources config file here, and you want to make sure you have these 2 lines added here. You want to make sure you add the graphics and the script folders to your resources folder. That way the game knows where to look for your custom assets, whether it be pictures or whether it be a script. In this case, we will have custom pictures and scripts. So make sure you have this added exactly the way you see it here. I will provide this file. Actually, I don't think I will provide this file. So just make sure you got this right and you got it here. So go ahead and add if you haven't added it already. Next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and go into the config folder here. We want to go ahead and open up the main init. Again, we talked about this last episode, but make sure you have this line right here. I will provide this file here, so if you guys need to copy and paste it, you can from the download. But pretty much you need the name of your map. Mine is main_menu.html. Just as you guys saw, I saved it as such. And then you want to make sure you have the folder that the map is located in. So for me, that's my custom story folder name, and that's the maps folder. So that's where my main menu map is. And next, we disregarded this in the last episode because we didn't need it, but we will need it in this one. Player start area 1. We want to make sure that when we put our player start area, it is called this exact name right here. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and add it to the map so that we don't forget. So let's go ahead and open up the level editor here. We do have one in the very beginning here. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. This is the one that we have just by default. This one's called start pause 1. We aren't gonna have that name set as the one as a spawn point here. So we're gonna go right here and we're gonna create a new spawn point. This is like the permafail stuff that we did before. Again, you don't need any of this stuff in the level, so I'm just gonna move it over. I'm not gonna delete it, just move it over. But again, you guys should clear out anything you don't need in your like main menu map. So let's go ahead and put down a player start position. So we want to go ahead and look for that player start, and let's go ahead and just put it right here for now. Where we put this is not going to matter so much because we're going to play an animation, and the animation is going to play like right away. So where the player spawns doesn't matter. I'm just going to throw it right here. out of laziness. And I'm going to make sure I copy this name right here. And I'm going to go ahead and close the file now. So make sure you have that put in your config. And we'll paste the name right there. So it's going to be player start area 1. Make sure the two names match. But yeah, so we have it there now. So we have that spawn point that the main menu is going to look for. And we're all set in that config file now. So now that that's done, let's talk about where you can get the graphics here. So the only one I have in here, I have a folder called Start Menu, Title, and then I have my custom images here. I'll go ahead and open up. It just says Amnesia: The Wake. I made it myself for this custom story. Where you can find the original ones, I will show you where that is. You go to the root directory of the Amnesia Rebirth folder. You go graphics and you go Start Menu, and then right here is that folder called Title. And it has just the regular old Amnesia Rebirth title here. So we will need the title because it will be used by the main menu script that I wrote. So that I edited. So make sure you do have this. So we're gonna go back a little bit here. We're gonna go back into my mods folder. So go ahead and copy that into this folder here, into your graphics folder if you don't have it. I will provide it if you guys want a copy of mine to paste in. But yep, again, this is mine. I'm gonna leave it here in Start Menu and then in the graphics folder. So just make sure you have something there. So other than that, now we want to go ahead and copy over the script that I created for you guys. So I do have the folder structure here. So that's script, custom, and I have some stuff that I was working on here. You can disregard this if you don't have this folder. You shouldn't. You should just create it, or instead of creating it, you can just go ahead and go to the files I'm going to share with you guys. These are the files I'm going to share with you guys. If you go into script, custom, modules, here's my custom menu handler script that I'm providing you guys to be able to have this more of advanced intro. So what you can do is just go ahead and just copy this right here, and then just paste it into the into your custom stories folder. So that's script, custom, and now you see modules, and there's our menu handler script. So my custom menu handler script. I will briefly talk about the script really quick. This is again the way this is the whole scripted main menu. So all the buttons you see in the main menu that you can click on, what it does, what they do, it's all in here. and it's a lot of lines of code. I mean, if I go down, that's like 10,000 lines of code for the main menu. So any aspect about the main menu you can find in here, although you're gonna have to look for a lot of things here. So we might touch upon this in a future episode when we go into like even more advanced main menus, maybe custom buttons and stuff like that, because we will have to edit some of the stuff around here. But I just kind of made you guys easier, and I just made a custom version of this. I did a little bit of cleanup. I believe the changes I made were around line 1900. In case the download for some reason isn't working, I just kind of want to point out what I did here. So the main thing I did here is I went ahead and commented out. I put this /* right here, and I put this /* right here, and I commented out this whole section. And this is the section that draws all the background images that you see. So the ones that we used in the last episode that put pictures up, that's the code. This is the code for that right here. All of this. So if you look here, you'll probably notice some of these. Like for example, these are the light rays. So GFX ray 1. So it looks for the file BG light ray 1, 2, 3. It looks for the foreground, menu foreground, ultra wide, foreground.png. So all the images that we messed around with last time, this is where they are loaded into the main menu. So I went ahead and commented out. So if we were to load it with a blank map, with our map that we had in the last episode, it's just going to be straight blank. It's going to be nothing there. But of course, we're going to do something different this time around. So we can comment. We can be okay with commenting this section out. So that's pretty much what I did. You guys can do it if you don't want to copy my script. I also made one other change in here. When you start up the custom story, a new game in your custom story, it'll play those like words. It'll play those words where it's just like, oh, it plays like that intro, those sets of words that it's like an intro to the custom story, I guess, or intro to the game or whatever. I also got rid of that part in the script. I don't remember where I edited it, but I edited it somewhere here and I removed it, so it just takes you straight to your custom story and it doesn't show any unnecessary text. So so that's one benefit to using my script here. But just go ahead and make a copy of it and use it. I'm perfectly fine with you guys using it and sharing it if you need. Just if anything, give credit to me if anything. But other than that, you guys feel free to use it. Go ahead and, like I said, paste it in your custom stories folder, and you're pretty much all set with that. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next part. When we saved our map right here, we would have generated a script for the map file. So if we go into maps and we go into main menu, we have our main menu.hps file that's automatically generated when we save our map. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it, but we want to open it in our CodeLight application. So we're going to go ahead and go to CodeLight, and here's our custom story. So we're going to right click it, and we're going to go ahead and go to import files from directory, and then we're going to go down to maps, and we're going to click it here. So we need to add the map to our working directory so that we can actually like view the files. And also make sure you have these three at the end. If you follow the instructions in the first setup video, you should be fine. They should be here, but it doesn't hurt to just verify. Make sure you got, more importantly, start at HPS at the end here. So go ahead and hit OK. And now we go to maps, and we should have our main menu map right here. And we can open our main menu.hps. So a lot of this is just going to be a bunch of commented code and like pre-written code and stuff like that. So in the last episode, I showed how to clear out all of this. We're going to go ahead and just clear it out again. So let's go ahead and clear it out again. So we're going to remove all these comments. Remember, the slashes mean that it's a comment. In mine, they look yellow. But depending on what theme you have, you might have a different look for them. But yep, I'm just going to clear out all this stuff. Let's go ahead and clear out all of this. Let's clear out all of this here. We'll get rid of this line. We'll get rid of this line as well. Pretty much just getting rid of all this unnecessary code here. The player won't die in this main menu, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of clear out this whole on player killed function. We don't need it. On death, again, we don't plan on the player dying in the main menu, so we're going to go ahead and clear that. Same thing goes for this respawn. We're not planning on making the player respawn in the main menu, so we're going to go ahead and clear that. And we can leave the on action one. We're going to remove this debug output here, so we want to remove that. Actually, we can go ahead and remove the on action as well here. And then we'll go ahead and remove all these comments that are here as well. So remove all these comments, and that's that. So now we have a nice clean script file here. Another thing we have to do, we want to add some lines up here. I'm going to copy the ones from the developer's main menus maps script file. You guys can copy it off the screen here, but I will provide this as well in the download files. They'll be in the maps folder, and where the script files are generally located. But here they are. These are all the ones you guys should add to the top of your custom story. These will include the functions that or some of the functions we're gonna use, and leave some of the other important ones that you might end up using in the future. But make sure you have those added up here. Again, I got them from the main menu map script file from the developers. I just copied the top of their file, so make sure you have that there. Also, actually, while we're here in the setup, let's go ahead and clear out the setup stuff here as well. We don't want that in there either. So yep, so we have a nice clean main menu.hps that we can work with. Everything's ready for us to start putting stuff in here. So and before we start putting anything here, let's go back to the map now, and let's now put in our animation that we want to play when the main menu starts up. So let's go ahead and open up the level editor. So again, when you start up your custom story and the main menu starts, for your custom story. I want mine to start right here in the stairs and kind of just pan down here and stop somewhere around here and just kind of look in the direction of this ghoul with this flickering light over here. So so that's what we're gonna do. So if you haven't seen the episode on camera animations, I highly recommend it. It's a good one. If you didn't see it, you don't need to know it to be able to do it here, but it does help understand what's going on around here. So first thing we want to do is go to areas here, and we want to find camera animation. So that's the third one from the top here, and we'll go ahead and place one down, and we'll go ahead and lift it up here. We'll move it over like this. I believe the blue line is the direction you want it to be looking at, but I can verify that with the one we have up here. Yes, it looks like the blue line is facing this direction. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure that blue line is looking in this direction over here. So let's go ahead and grab it. Let's go ahead and rotate it and make sure that blue line is facing in that direction. So there it is. That's the blue line, and it's looking in this direction. So let's move it a little more now. So I kind of want to put it like right up here somewhere, like right there, I think. Yeah, and I want it to go kind of down sideways like this and stop right here. So take note of the name. It is called camera animation _1. The name will be important. So now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it by hitting Control D on my keyboard, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this down now. I'm going to bring it down, and let's see if I can get a good spot here. I think maybe right here is a good spot. Yeah, I think right here, maybe a little lower than this, right there. Yeah, let's do it right there. I think that's fine. And that's going to be camera animation 2 since we duplicated it. All right, so now we're gonna mess around with the camera animations a little bit here. So we're gonna go ahead and click on area here. First thing I want to do is change the look speed multiplier to 0. I don't want the player to be able to look around in the main menu. We just want it to be static, looking in one direction. So I want to set that to 0. I want to set auto move to be 1 because I want the camera to be moving, to automatically move to the next camera animation here. So it's going to go from point A to point B, and then I want it to move. I think let's do 5 seconds. Let's make it move 5 seconds between this node and this node. It will take 5 seconds to reach there. We're not planning on moving backwards, so we don't really care there. Interactive movement, we want to disable that. We don't want the player to be able to like interact with anything while he's moving in the camera. So we're going to go ahead and disable that there. So that's all I want to do for this one. So all this first camera animation is going to do is just automatically move us to the second node right here. And once we do get to this node, same thing applies here. We don't want the player to be able to look when he reaches this node. There's no other nodes, so we don't have to worry about forward time, backwards time, or auto movement. We do want to disable interactive movement. And then now the important part here is that we want to go ahead and set a callback here. So the plan is it's going to play this animation, or it's going to move us down this animation. And then once it reaches the bottom here, we want to load in the actual buttons for the main menu. So once we're done with this camera animation, it's going to trigger the callback that we're going to use to then show our main menu. So this will be important here. So let's go ahead and add the line here. Let's go ahead and add our callback here. Let's just call it on animation end. You can say on camera animation end, whatever you guys feel like. That's what I'm going to call mine. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit copy right here, and it's going to copy the format for the function for us. And we can go right over to code light, and let's paste it right at the bottom here underneath our on leave function. And there it is, bool on camera end. Those are default inserts, or default variables that come in when we call it. And we do need to return a function here, so we're going to return true. So we're going to go ahead and tab this out just to kind of get the line set up properly. And now let's actually start putting some code in here. So if you watched the last episode, we're going to follow a lot of what we did in the last episode for this part, but with a slight change since we're going to be using this camera animation. So first thing I want to do is fade in the screen when the main menu is loaded up. So to do that, first when we're setting up the main menu, we want to go ahead, when we're setting up the map, we want to make sure everything's black initially because we want to fade in to the into the animation. So what we're going to say is we're going to go ahead and say effect underscore fade out. And we're going to say this to 0. So 0 means that we're going to fade out instantaneously. So as soon as we set up this map, the screen's already going to be black and the player's not going to be able to see anything. And we will fade it in when we're ready to show the player something. So for that, we're going to do it pretty much right away once he enters the map. So what we're going to say is right here on enter, we're going to get rid of this game autosave here. And we're going to put effect fade in. We're going to fade in. Let's fade in fairly quickly. Let's fade in like 1 second. So it should fade in pretty quick. But you can, of course, use whatever you want here. So we'll fade in over 1 second here. But again, we need to be faded out before we can fade in. That's why we fade out instantaneously on setup. And that way we can fade in over the course of 1 second on as soon as the player enters the level. So that's that. Next thing we want to go ahead and do is we want to go ahead and disable the player's crosshair icon. So we don't want to see the little dot that the player has on screen. So it's the same as we did in the previous episode. We're going to say player underscore show crosshair icons. We want to set this to false. And we're going to go ahead and put the semicolon there. And we will re-enable it when we leave the map. We can actually go ahead and do that. So on leave here, we want to go ahead and do player underscore show crosshair icons, and we want to go ahead and re-enable it for the player. So when the player leaves the main menu, we want to make sure he has his crosshairs icons going into the next map. So we're going to set that to true. So let's go back to our on enter here. And what we're going to do now, let's go ahead and start our camera animation that we just added to the level. So this camera animation right here. So we're going to go ahead and start that. So we're going to go ahead and say camera animation begin. This one right here. We're going to need to put in the name of the camera animation. So we're going to say camera animation. And I'll explain that in a moment, but it has to be the name of your camera animation without the underscore 1 or underscore 2, just straight camera animation. So I'm going to do comma space, and we're going to do 2 quotation marks here. This will be for a callback. We're not using a callback for a camera animation, so or at least not for the setup here. So we're going to put that as blank. So we're going to do comma space now for the next one. And exit on last node. We do not want the player to gain control back of his player at all. So we want to leave him just sitting on the last node. So we're going to say false here. We're going to put the quotation marks. And that does it for our camera animation. We started our camera animation. Now it's going to play that little sliding animation that in the beginning that we just put in our level. So and to explain again the camera animation thing, so whatever you name it, you got to make sure, if you name it like, you know, intro animation, you got to make sure you call it intro animation underscore 1, and then the next one will be intro animation underscore 2. So make sure you keep it consistent when you add your camera animations. Mine is just called camera animation underscore 1 underscore 2. So we just include this first part of the name. So make sure you only put that first part without the underscore or anything afterwards. So that's gonna be it for the camera animation there. This is your opportunity to play some music as well. So we do have a music file already saved from our music episode. If you haven't seen the episode on playing music, I highly recommend it. I already have one, so I'm just gonna play that one. So that's gonna be amb.ogg. I'm gonna do comma space. I'm gonna play it at full volume, 1.0 F. We're going to set this to be true here. We do want the music to loop. And we're going to play it as background ambience music. So we're going to say E music priority, BGAMB, background ambience. And we're going to close this out with a semicolon here. And now on the on leave, we want to go ahead and also disable this music. We want to stop it from playing when we leave the main menu. So we're going to say music underscore stop. We're gonna fade away. Let's just say 3 seconds. and we're gonna do comma space and music priority. Which music priority are we stopping? We said we played it as music priority B, G, A, and B, so we want to make sure we go ahead and stop that same exact one. So E music priority B, G, A, and B. It should match this one right here, and it will go ahead and stop that when we leave the main menu, when we leave this map. So now that we have that, last important thing is to actually show the main menu. When do we want to show the main menu? Again, we said we want to show the main menu once the camera animation is done. So when it reaches that this last camera animation trigger right here, we're calling back function on animation end, which we've gone ahead and put in our script file right here. And all it's doing is return true. So we're going to show the main menu right here. We're going to say main menu underscore show. We're going to say true. We do want to show the main menu, and we'll go ahead and close that out with a semicolon. So with that pretty much does it for everything we need to do here. Again, we're gonna fade out right away, and we're gonna fade in over 1 second. Disable the crosshair icons. We're gonna start the camera animation. We're gonna play our background music. We're gonna, when the player leaves, we're gonna stop the music and re-enable his crosshairs. But when the camera animation is done, we're gonna go ahead and show the main menu. So again, what we should expect now is we're gonna spawn in this level. It's gonna put us right here in this camera animation. It's gonna slowly fade in and also start sliding this way into the next camera animation, and it should stop right here, just kind of looking in this direction. We've played a ghoul. We placed the ghoul over here with the senses disabled, so he's not doing anything. And we went ahead and put this light over here to flicker, so it looks cool. You can see the ghoul standing and just kind of like the light flickering and stuff like that. So now that that's all set up, we can go ahead and give it a test now. So let's go ahead and launch up our custom story now and check it out. Oh, before we start up our custom story, I put this in quotation marks here. So again, this shouldn't be in quotation marks. It should be 3.0 F because this is a float, not a string. So make sure that is 3.0 F. So let's go ahead and start up our custom story and check it out. All right, here we are in our custom story. So first thing we want to do is we're going to hit F1, and it's going to bring up the debug toolbar. And what we can do under maps and scene, we can hit load map, and we can go ahead and hit mods here, or mods, and then we go to the wake, and you can go to your maps folder. But here's a neat trick: if you just stay in the root directory of the Amnesia folder, you can actually go ahead and go to maps, main menu, and load up the developers map. And it will actually redirect to your main menu map because you did put it in the config. So you don't actually have to go to your folder where your map is. You can just load up the developers and it will actually redirect to yours. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll double click it, and we should be loading now into the map for our custom story. So we still have the debug toolbar on. So this is the very beginning of our map. We're going to go ahead and hit F1 here, and our animation and everything should play. So let's go ahead and hit F1 here. And there we go. That was our custom story, and here are our buttons. So as you can see, we got the flickering light. I might want to make this flicker a little bit more. It's flickering right now, but I could flicker this a little more. But again, it was just a bit of an extra idea I had. You can see the ghoul, you can see the flickering. I do have a box light in the level. I could make that a little darker here if I wanted to, although we do want to be able to see. But I think this looks pretty good. You can see the ghoul just standing, looking creepy. The light, a little bit of a flicker. Could flicker faster, like I said. But here is our main menu, and I told you we needed this tile here for the name of our custom story. You can put whatever you want there. You don't have to say Amnesia, and then the name of your story. You can put whatever you want here. That's why we copied the files. Yeah, and then you can go ahead and do new game. You can do original, and you can hit start. You hit yes, and it will go ahead and start because start. I told you guys I made changes to this, additional changes to the script as well, so that there's no so that there's no words that come up on the words. So you saw there was no words that come up like like if you started a brand new game. It just skipped right to your custom story. So it went right to our custom story, and here we are. And our custom story can actually start now, and all of that. And this is still our regular map. If we walk over there, we'll still get jump scared by the ghoul and whatnot. If we go up here, as you can see. But yeah, that's how you do a custom main menu. Pretty cool, very fun stuff. Fairly simple, although you will have to take a good amount of time just to get it set up first. But pretty cool, and you can execute whatever kind of code you want in that script. You can put whatever you want in the map. You can, like I told you guys can put like the ghoul to patrol and stuff like that. You can put you can run whatever code you want to run and stuff like that. We might take a trip back to main menus in a future episode to kind of talk about some of the more advanced topics when it comes to editing that script and stuff like that. But for now, I feel this is a good point for you guys to be able to start putting this in your story, especially since it's not very intuitive, the custom story system in the game and stuff for when it comes to main menus. So with that, guys, I hope you have a good day. Make sure you guys leave a comment if you have any questions or suggestions. We still have a lot of things that I want to get through as well, and a lot of things you guys have been asking for. So definitely expect some more videos soon. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and leave a like if you haven't already liked the video. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one. Bye.